welcome to my channel. My name is Megan from Daisy's Days Plans over on Instagram, and this week we will be planning in my planner for the week of November 17th through November 23rd using the Echoes of Autumn kit from the Pretty Pink Co. And if you want to see how I made that spread, then please keep watching. Thank you. So this week we are planning for the week of November 17th through the 23rd. Um, I didn't know what kit to use at first because I have so many and they're all so pretty. So I asked my best friend to pick one out of my little collection, and she picked out the kit Echoes of Autumn by the Pretty Pink Co. There are some pieces that are used because I did use some in my scripture journal, but I ended up getting both the weekly and the pieces of the decorative kit, so I had a lot to work with. Um, Scene change, I got a phone call, so I had to stop recording and then re-record. Um, Starting off with the color wash on washi paper. This color wash was just so pretty. Kind of want another one just to have it. And now it's time for the bottom washi. And decide if I want it at the bottom like I always do, and I did. Sorry if I sound a little nasally. I'm getting over a cold. Luckily, it's mostly just sinuses now, and I don't sound like a dead squeaky toy like I have been the past few days. So, but I'm really sorry if it's bothersome. So, like always, I like to do one page and then the other page, so both of the bigger bottom strips are down. Um, Now I'm just trying to see if I have any. I want to use any of like the little foil washi strips, like from either Sadie stickers or the Pretty Pink Co. Almost said City Stickers Co. That's not correct. Um, so and I can't remember if I did. To be honest, I don't. Did I? Nope. I actually didn't end up using them. Um, I didn't. I was kind of all over the place when I was doing this. I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do. When it came to the floral washi strips, I didn't know if I wanted to use the thinner one on the top or the bottom. And then I decided to go for the top. I was like, well, do I use it on the top of the page facing down, or do I use it on the bottom, about like on top of the columns and have it going look like it's coming up from the columns? I didn't really know what I was doing there. Um, because I also have those big floral strips from the decorative kit too that I really wanted to use and bring in. So there's just a lot of trying to decide where do I want to put it all. I've got so much and not as much space as I would like. Um, so now I'm just trying to figure out, do I use that little color wash strip that the Pretty Pink Co. puts in? Or do I just leave it blank? And I think I just left it blank. I didn't really put anything over top of the floral washi. I just set it down just like that. Sometimes a little less is more. Um, oh, I I did use a foil washi strip. I use it from the Pretty Pink Co. I put that one on top. Okay, I just looked at my spread to figure out, make sure I am saying the right things, and I apparently am not saying the right things because I thought I didn't use that, but I guess I did. Now for the date covers. Um, so I like I said, I didn't know what to use for this week, and so my best friend picked it out. It's also the week of my youngest brother's birthday. He's turning 13. Um, so he usually I it's hard to gauge what to decorate for his birthday week because when he was born the day before Thanksgiving. So his birthday always usually falls on the week of of Thanksgiving. But this year, I think last year it might have fallen. It's fallen on the week before, so there is time to plan for both of them. But it's kind of hard because he's at that stage where he doesn't like anything, or he says he doesn't like anything. So, ooh, and I put that on crooked. And no, I think I put it on slightly off. And then I tried to put it up and then realized, nope, that was not going to pull up without tearing the paper. So, um, but he's kind of hard to do anything for because he's at that age where he's very particular in what he likes. Um, which is almost nothing, and he kind of just like sits in his room all day watching YouTube, which I can't really blame him because it's kind of what I do all day too. So excuse me. So honestly, he does get it honestly. But I when I saw this kit from the Pretty Pink Co, I knew I had to have it. It was just really pretty. I loved the colors. I loved the fall foliage. I loved the squirrel. The squirrel sold me, and then I saw the train, and I love the old steam engine Jacobite train kind of thing. It really reminds me of like obviously of the Hogwarts Express. And every time I see a steam engine train, I'm like, is that a steam engine train? I want to say it's a steam engine train. I could be completely wrong, and if I'm wrong, please forgive me and correct me. But every time I see like one of those like Jacobite like trains, I get like really excited. So it reminds me of the Hogwarts Express, and then I just brought back and it's just comfort. So I saw it and I was like, I had to have it. And I love squirrels. Squirrels are just really adorable. And deer, and it's just like I had to have it, and so I got like everything. So now it's time for the sidebar, and here I am trying to put this book down where it wasn't covering everything up, but then like I covered half the book up anyway. But they're stickers, and we're supposed to layer them. Is what I keep hearing, and I can't remember who said it in one of their videos that like we have stickers and like we hoard them and we shouldn't be afraid to layer them when we do our spreads. And I can't remember who I heard it from. Was it Kat from Fame Arena Planning, or was it from someone else? I can't remember. But I remember someone saying that we shouldn't be afraid to layer the stickers. That's what they're for. And that kind of like they right. I really can't be afraid to layer these stickers no matter what. Oh, and I just made a huge mistake. I It's the only part of the sidebar that I hated, and I tried really hard to get it up without ripping anything, and then it got stuck to the little header, and that wasn't going to come off without tearing the header, and I was like, ah, crap. Let me try and salvage this and put something underneath it to try and layer. And well, I tried it with these trees and it wasn't working underneath or on top or doing that. And it just, it looked weird having a train just come right out of the treetop. So I tried to remove it. Um, and removing stickers is probably one of the most stressful things. So I'm trying to figure out how do I fix this situation because I messed up. I messed up. And I keep telling myself, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. But obviously, it's not fine because I'm going back and trying to take it off. So I just said, screw it. I took the header off and I was like, there's no salvaging this. I gotta get rid of the sticker. And it really makes me sad. But it's fine because the train doesn't match the other train. Um, but I had one more header left. So I decided, okay, well, I have this. Let me put that down. I'm like, okay, now I can fix it. There's a little piece of the tree that's kind of missing, but but it's fine. It's what stickers are for, to layer and to fix those kinds of mistakes. And that's what I did. I used that little color wash little thingy. Or are they called color washes or like strips or I don't know what they are. So I just decided to just stick that there, and that's where I was gonna put like my weekly stats script. So it worked out. It worked out. It was a little stressful for a minute there, but I figured it out. And now I'm trying to figure out where do I put this sticker without covering everything. And there is no way. There's nothing. So I was like, okay, well, it's gonna stay there, and it's gonna live there for now on. Um, so But overall, I mean, I ended up really enjoying how the sidebar turned out. It really makes me happy. And after putting the deer there, I realized like that it really it makes the little piece. It all came together once I put the deer down. Um, Deers make everything better. And now I'm trying to figure out the bottom part of my sidebar. I swear, I think my sidebar takes the longest out of out of the doing the entire spread. It's probably what I spend the longest doing. Um, and I don't know why. Um, it just does. I always try and make them look pretty but functional, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. I just have to make sure I have enough room to put those um, weekly tracker scripts on the side. And sometimes I don't realize how big they are. And then I put something really big at the bottom, and then I don't have enough room to write. I mean, if it covers the Saturday and Sunday spot, that's fine. I don't usually write on Saturday and Sunday, but I still like to have them there for the off chance that I do have like I do end up writing. But if I cover those writing spaces, it doesn't bother me. Um, I don't really necessarily have a method of working on the sidebar. Sometimes I start from the bottom up to make sure I have enough room for everything, and then sometimes like today I started from the top to the bottom, and that's where I kind of like figure out to make sure that I have everything or have enough room for everything. Um, so now I'm trying to figure out what to do with this mountainscape or my mountain scene. So I want to try and utilize as much of it as possible without cutting it or without, because it's just putting a bunch of white space on behind the mountain. I don't know why it just bothered me, and I didn't have my X-Acto knife with me. I don't know why I didn't have it. I don't usually need it, except for now the one time that I did actually need it, I didn't have it, so I had to like MacGyver it with a pair of scissors and try and get that little piece off. And even trying to, I couldn't cut it. Tried doing it off camera, and it just was not working. I didn't want to cut through the paper, so it took a little bit of finagling to kind of get it off, and I ended up doing it, obviously. But it was a lot harder than it was supposed to be, and Um, Now I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do to fill that space because I have a lot of room for that floral, and I decided to just save the rest of it for later. And I'm just going to work around and put down the floral, that big floral washi down at the bottom. But if I want to put anything on the bottom part of my columns, I have to make sure I put that down first. And so that was the what I'm trying to figure out. But I love that squirrel scene so much um, that that's where I wanted to put it. So I was just trying to figure out. And then now we have another scene change. I started work, so this had to wait until work was finished. So now we're at the end of my day, or we're at the start of the next day. I can't remember. Um, but this is the next part where I put that down, trying to decide if I need to, if I want to put anything else. No, just I think I'm trying to find my strip of floral washi to put down. I want to make sure if I need to put anything else down before I put the floral washi. And I keep going back to that log. I keep going back to that log because I wanted to put that log there so bad, but it was not working. Um, the the sizes wasn't really working out. The proportions, it just it made me sad because I wanted it there and it wouldn't work there. Um, but I decided to add those little deer foil decos there, and I ended up really liking that a lot more, and especially once I added the bird, it all came together, and I ended up really liking it, and um, that rock wasn't working there either. Um, it's a common theme with this spread. Like a lot of the things that I wanted to work was they weren't working, and it made me very sad, very sad. But I'm happy with it now, and now it's time to put the floral washi down. It only took uh too long to figure out how I wanted it, but I figured out that's all that matters. And then I realized it's not exactly where I wanted it, but it was ripping the paper and was about to rip the sticker, and I said, nope, I'm just gonna have to live with it. Again, another very common theme with this spread. And then this spread was just it's so beautiful. And I think that's and I loved it so much. And I think that's where I put pressure on myself to make it look perfect and pretty. And I really got into my head while making this spread. Instead of just like having fun with the stickers, I was really focused on like where I wanted to make the spread look really pretty. And it was all about the aesthetics rather than doing what I wanted to do and just having fun. I think sometimes we all kind of get stuck in that mindset where that's all we can think about is how do we make the spread look pretty, where it can be, photographed pretty, or the stickers that we're using, they're just so pretty, and we don't want to waste them by doing a bad spread, or feel like we wasted them by doing a bad spread. And this was definitely one of those kits. It was a kit that I really wanted to hoard because I didn't want to use it. I wanted to savor it because it's just so pretty. But then I had to remind myself, like, I have a million other kits I can use. And if I really want to use this kit again, I can always buy it again. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world if I don't. Um, but so I ended up putting that full box on the top corner on Monday. And then I finally used the log. And I put a little squirrel on top. So it was starting to come together, um, bit by bit. And again, I think I was just really thinking way too hard about the spread and what I wanted to do with it. and it it's a beautiful spread. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It was a journey. This whole thing was a journey. I kept lifting stickers, placing them, trying to layer. I was thinking way too hard about everything because I wanted it to be perfect, and um nothing is perfect. But we're human and we forget that. So, but I still I want to use all the deco, but I have to make sure I have enough space to write um during the week. In case anything happens, changes, something like so if something does happen where I want to note it in my planner, I have to make sure I have room for that. And if I finish a chapter, then I want to make sure I have room enough to write that I finished that chapter. And so I try to leave a little bit of space to write in. Sometimes I forget to do that, um, but it's fine. It's fine. It ends up working fine in the end. Um, so now I have to make sure I have all my spaces. Um, the important things I want to make sure I remember on Tuesday before putting down another piece of deco, whether it's a box or one of those scenes. Um, and I believe I ended up putting down that box right there in right dab in the middle and layering it with the log and with the forest scene. Um, it ended up being just a bit of a pain in the butt, but I ended up making it work. Like I said, it's just there's just a lot of pulling up stickers. I did not think about any of this the right way. Um, and then I ended up using these little embellishments I got from the Pretty Pinko. I think it was from one of a tiered. No, I think they're like a leaf. I forgot which foil sheet it is, but I ended up using one that's just to kind of line that one corner. I felt like that corner just it needed something. Um, it just looked really plain, and I ended up really and then finishing off with that leaf in the corner. I ended up really liking it until I ended up pulling it back up here in a couple minutes because I put a box in that corner, and I ended up putting a box in that corner. I forgot I had cut off filming, and I stopped recording for a bit, and then I was like, "Oh crap!" So I did that off camera, and now I'm adding the boxes that I need to use to remember and did not leave myself a lot of space to write on Wednesday. I have that itty bitty little space in that column, but it's fine. So that page is done. Now it's time to move on to the next page. And I knew immediately I wanted to use the train. I wanted to use the train. I wanted to use that other scene up there. So it's all trying to figure out where do I want to put them. And I put that down crooked. And so now I'm trying to peel it up. And it didn't go on straight, which is a common occurrence. I can never lay anything down straight. It's very hard. Um, but peeling up stickers is one of the most stressful things to do because I don't want to rip the sticker and I don't want to rip the paper. And I mean, I'd rather rip the paper a little bit than rip the sticker. And this paper just tends to rip really easily. This year, I didn't have this problem last year with the paper, but this year it just decided to wants to rip all the time. So I've just kind of learned to live with it. Um, Now to put the bottom washi down, making sure I put the train in the right spot. I wanted to make sure I didn't have to lift it again. Um, but I did end up lifting just the corner of it to put this floral piece down. Because of the shape of it, it felt weird and empty in that one spot. So I kind of put that floral there, and it's fine. It ended up working once the spread came together, but it's the only floral piece in the actual spread itself, other than the washi, the floral strips. So it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It all comes together in the end. Um, I really with this one, I really relied heavily on the decorative elements that came in the kit, not necessarily the boxes. I feel like the boxes were or the decorative boxes just kind of were there to fill the space and to add something. Um, and I think that's also why I put a lot of pressure on myself for this spread because I wasn't relying solely on the full decorative boxes like I do in my other spreads. I was really relying on um, the the decorative kit and just the big decorative scenes in general is what I put most of my focus on. So it's next time I use a decorative the bones of a decorative kit in my weekly, I know what to do. Don't put too much pressure on myself and just kind of go with it. Don't overthink it. Um, so just trying to figure out where I'm gonna put some of these boxes where I need them. Um, I'm not like I said, I'm not a very busy person. I have a couple things going on during the weeks, most weeks. It's mostly just to keep track of what I have kind of coming out or try to track what I have coming out. It doesn't always work. Um, so it's I have a I, yeah, so I tend to have a lot of space to work with when it comes to stickers and decorating. So now I'm kind of thinking I have this big old space at the bottom. What am I going to do with it? And I finally use this forest scene down here. It's big, it's excessive, um, but it's fine. It ended up working. I used that little tree scene with the firewood, and now it's time for the bottom washing. This spread would be perfect for someone who's going camping. Like this whole it really reminds me of the Smoky Mountains, and I was want to say the Smoky Mountains are in Tennessee. Pretty sure, Great Smoky Mountains. Um, that's just the kind of vibe it really gives off. But also with the forest and everything like that, it's just really pretty, and I'm already wanting to use it again and just make the spread better. But I shouldn't buy kits a second time because I've already used them, but I want to use them again. But I've already used them, so it's a very endless cycle that I always find myself in, and it's like I really have to fix this problem, but they're pretty, and I just sometimes I just want to get them just to look at them, just to keep looking at them. That was my phone. Um, does anyone else like ever want to buy sticker kits again? Just either use them a second time because they're that pretty, or just to just have them and look at them. Or is that just me? It could just be a me thing, but if there's anyone else that does that too, please let me know so I'm not alone. Um, so now I'm just putting the remainder bits of my foil deco down. I really try and use as much foil deco as I possibly can, um, because I don't want to waste it. Sometimes like the spread will feel too full and I don't have any place for it, and then I just feel like I'm just dropping them down. But then like I also have like these spare foil pieces that don't really go with anything else because they're made for that kit specifically. So I can't use them again unless I buy the kit again. But if I buy the kit again, I'm going to buy another foil sampler, and so I'm stuck back in the same problem I am in now. Um, because like that's a problem. The problem of having too much deco, too much stickers to work with. Um, like I really wanted to use a squirrel on this side of the page, but it was too big. It wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't. It couldn't fit. That's that's where I'm stuck. I'm like I want to use some of these beautiful foil pieces that obviously go perfect with this kit because they're a part of the foil sampler, but they don't go anywhere because they don't fit. There's just a lot going on, and um, I really need to make sure I know when enough is enough because I don't have that I don't have that ability sometimes, and this is one of those kits where it's like I should have told myself enough was enough a few stickers ago, and here I am just putting down more leaves all over the place because I can. Just because I can doesn't mean I should, but um now I'm just trying to think of what else can I do? And past me doesn't realize that's it. That's all you can do. Future me now looked at it, it's like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I don't need to add anything else. Um, so now I think I'm just consolidating my stickers, and I realize I'm done. There's nothing else I can add to this spread. Um, and this is all that I have left. I have quite a bit left. I can probably use it again in my scripture journal next year. That was my phone again. So, but anyway, thank you so much for watching my second Plan With Me video. Gotta trim that sticker off. But thank you for joining me. This was a longer one than the last one, but it's very much appreciated. And I hope you all have a lovely, wonderful day and a good rest of your week. Oh, um, I forgot to put the dates on in my planner. That tends to happen a lot. I don't always put the dates in there, and I gotta get better with that. Whoops. Um, oh well, I'm doing it now, and that's what counts. Um, but these date dots are like the leaf ones from Sadie Stickers. They're simple, elegant, dainty, and they go perfect. But yep, that's the spread all finished. And thank you for watching. Have a wonderful week.